This video is about writing linear equations in slope-intercept form. So, in order to write an equation in slope-intercept form, you're going to need two things. You probably will be able to guess what they are. You need, first of all, the slope. Second of all, you need an intercept. In fact, you need the y-intercept, so make sure that you get that one. So, once you get those, you're going to use your general equation, y equals mx plus b, and remember the m represents the slope, and it's always going to be the value with the x. The b represents the y-intercept. It's going to be the constant value, which means the value that does not have a variable. And for this entire section, both section 4.1 and 4.2, all of your examples are going to have the same directions. They're all going to be just to write an equation. And we're going to write it in slope-intercept form. So my first one, I'm going to ask you to write the equation that has slope 4 and y-intercept 3. So you might be able to guess right away what you're going to do for this problem. This one actually is not too hard. Hopefully everybody will get this one right on the quiz. All you're going to do is you're going to take your equation, y equals mx plus b. For m, you're going to put in 4. For b, you're going to put in 3. So you end up getting y equals 4x plus 3. That's all you do for that one. So then, next example is going to be a little bit harder, but it's not too much harder. So you're going to write the equation that passes through 2 points. The first point is 0, negative 2. The second point is 3, 3. So remember, you need two things. You need your slope, you need your y-intercept. Believe it or not, they've already given you one of those two things. It might not be in the same way that you might know what it is. It doesn't have a b equals there, but whenever you have a value where x equals 0, such as this one right here, that actually is your y-intercept. So they already gave that one to you. So they've made it a little bit easier for you on this one by giving you that actual value. Okay, so we do, however, have to find the slope. So that's always going to be our two steps: find the y-intercept, find the slope. Alright, find the y-intercept below there, but they did give it to us. So we know y-intercept is b equals negative 2. So the slope, on the other hand, is a little bit harder. We have to use our general equation for slope, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I don't really care which ones you refer to as y1 and x1. I'm going to call the 0, negative 2 the x1 and the y1, and the 3, 3 the x2 and the y2. All I care about is that you keep the x for the x-coordinate and the y for the y-coordinate. You keep the 1s and 2s together. So for example, do not write 0, negative 2 as x1, x2. That is going to be a mistake if you do that, and you'll get the wrong answer, unfortunately. So y2 is 3, y1 is negative 2, x2 is also 3, x1 is 0. So we're going to go ahead and just calculate this out. We end up getting 5 over 3. Don't let the fraction scare you. Actually, this problem is not too hard because all you're doing once you have that, so we have our slope, we already have our y-intercept. All you do once you have that is write your equation. You use the general formula y equals mx plus b. So we're going to rewrite that as y equals 5 over 3x minus 2, and that's my answer for that one. Okay, here's one I want you to try on your own. I want you to write the equation of the line that passes through 0, 2, and 4, negative 1. Go ahead, pause, do this one on your own. Okay, so if you did this problem, I'm hoping that you noticed right away that your y-intercept was actually at 0, 2. So if you want, you can just write b equals 2, y-intercept equals 2, however you want to do that, or you can just circle it and write y-intercept, that's also fine. The slope does require a little bit of work. We're going to use our formula. By the way, you don't need to write the formula down every time you use it, but if you want to, that's certainly okay. So using our formula, we will get negative 1 minus 2 over 4 minus 0. That's going to give us a slope of negative 3/4. And we have our y-intercept, we have our slope. We're just going to write our answer as y equals negative 3/4 x plus 2. Last part in section 4.1, I am going to ask you to write the equation for the linear function that has f of 0 equals 5 and f of 4 equals 17. So this one looks a lot harder. It actually is not. All they did on this one was that they wrote the problem in a different way. So they didn't change anything, they just wrote it in a different way. If you know what to do, you can pause and just do it. If you're not sure what to do, I will tell you. So what you're going to do is you're going to change this to points. So this one right here, f of 0 equals 5. Remember that f of x is just kind of a fancy way to write y. It's called function notation. We've done it before, so it's a different way to write y. So in this case, the x is the 0. I'm going to put that in as my x coordinate. And since I know that f of x equals 5, I know that y equals 5, so the 5 is also my 0. You're going to do the same thing for 4 and 17. So 4 is the x, 17 is the y. So then you just are going to use those, do the exact same steps that you did previously. You start by finding the slope. The slope is going to be 17 minus 5 over 4 minus 0. That gives you 12 over 3. Make sure that when you do this, you actually do divide it out. We know that the 12 divided by 4 is going to be 3. By the way, I think I said the wrong number there, so don't let that fool you. So my slope is 3, and my y-intercept, once again, they give it to me. It is going to be y-intercept of 5. So it's 0 and 5, so I get my y-intercept of 5. My answer for this is going to be y equals 3x plus 5. Actually, if you want, you can also write your equation as f of x equals 3x plus 5. That would be a really, really good way to write it. However, if you're still new to the function notation, which I think most of you are, I don't care if you write it as y equals. Either of those two answers is okay with me. I will not mark either of them right or either of them wrong, as long as you get the rest of the problem correct. So this next section actually is part of section 4.2, but I think a lot of it is similar to 4.1. So we're still going to be writing the equation of the line. In this case, our line is going to be a line that passes through the point 3 negative, or I'm sorry, it passes through the point 6,3 and has a slope of negative 2. So this one, they actually made it very nice by giving us the slope. So our slope is going to be m equals negative 2. Unfortunately, the y-intercept requires a little bit of work. So we're going to find the y-intercept by substituting in our point. So we're going to substitute 6, 3 into the y equals mx plus b to find our b. So we know a few things. In 6, 3, the 6 is my x value, the 3 is my y value. We also know our m. In this case, we know that m is negative 2. They gave that to us already. So I'm going to use this equation, y equals mx plus b. I'm going to substitute in 3 for y. I'm going to substitute in negative 2 for m because they gave it to us. And I'm going to substitute in 6 for x. So now, once I have that, by the way, that's a 6, not a b in the parentheses there, I am going to find my b. I'm going to solve this equation. So when I do that, I get 3 equals negative 12 plus b. When I solve it, I'll find that b is equal to 15. So then my answer is not b equals 15. Make sure that you read the directions. Be careful. So our answer is the equation. So we're going to use our equation. We know our m, we know our b. Our answer is going to be y equals negative 2x plus 15. Make sure that when they ask you to find an equation, your answer is in the form where you have an x and a y and some numbers, and that's it. You're not going to have any b's in there, you're not going to have any m's in there, you're just going to have an equation. So for our next problem, I want you to do this on your own. We're going to be finding the equation of the line that passes through the point negative 1, 3 and has a slope of negative 4. So go ahead, pause, and do this one on your own, please. Okay, so I'm hoping that you used y equals mx plus b. I'm going to substitute in my negative 1 as my x value, my 3 is my y value. So I'm going to get 3 equals negative 4 times negative 1 plus b, which gives me 3 equals 4 plus b. My b in this case is going to be equal to negative 1. Now remember, negative 1 is not the answer to the problem. The answer to the problem is the actual equation. So I'm going to substitute into the equation. I end up getting y equals negative 4x minus 1. So I substituted in m equals negative 4, I substituted in b equals negative 1, and that's my equation. Okay, here's one other type. So we're going to find the equation of the line that passes through the points 3, 2 and 4, 9. So this one I didn't give you the slope, you have to find it on your own. So go ahead, I want you to take 1 minute to find the slope. Okay, so if you found it, you would get that your slope, you can find it by substituting in these points for x1, y1, x2, y2. So you get 9 minus 2 over 4 minus 3. You end up getting a slope of 7 over 1, which we're going to write as 7. The b is a little bit harder. Not because it's like super hard math, but because a lot of people forget what to do, and they get confused because there's 2 points. So to find the y-intercept, you can actually choose either of the 2 points. I don't care which one you choose. If you want to use 3, 2, that's fine. If you want to use 4, 9, that's fine. So you can use either point. I usually choose the point that has smaller numbers, or the one, if there's one that has no negatives. In this case, both of them have no negatives, so you can actually use either point. But in this one, I like the 0.32 because the numbers are smaller. If you want to do the same thing with 4, 9, go for it. You'll get the same answer. So we're going to use y equals mx plus b. I'm going to use the 0.32. So I put in 2 for y, and the 7 I just found is going to be my m. 3 is going to be the x, and then I'm going to find b. And once I solve that out, I do find that my b is negative 19. So now I have my b, I have my m. I'm going to get y equals 7x minus 19. And we're done.